Hi everyone, this is Audrey Skaggs from CLS, and I'm going to try to do a quick little tutorial on Nearpod and what I've been doing. I've been using it in medical terminology, kind of in a flipped classroom environment. So I'm going to take you over to my library. We are here in Nearpod and I'm logged in. And so you're going to see a lot of the ones I've created already. I'm just going to pick this one, for example. We're going to launch a live session, and it will give you a code here in just a second. And so here's the code. You need to share this with your classroom. Sometimes I just write it on the board. So this is DTRWQ. So I'm going to join it as a student. DTRWQ. Enter. Alright, and it knows my name, but the student would put their name in. And so here is the presentation, and that's what the student sees. And so this is what I see, and I run the presentation. So every time I switch slides, it switches it for the student. So some introduction about the topic, and here is the first activity, is a drawing activity. It says circle in blue the cells that carry oxygen, and in red those that help with clotting. Now, as a student, you actually see the picture. So here they are. And so you have the ability to pick colors and things. So we have here some tools. We have a highlighter, a pen, some text, and they can share pictures, and there's an eraser. So I'm going to do the pen, and so we needed blue, the cells that carry oxygen, so this would be the erythrocytes, right? I want to see the instructions again, and in red, those that help with clotting, so those would be our little platelets, and we go here, and we circle, and when we have it done, we send it. And then the teacher gets the drawing, and it's waiting. There's a little delay here. So here's the drawing, and then as the students send the drawings back, you can see them. Now, if everybody send a drawing back and now you want to share answers, you can click on here and say, I'm going to share it, and you share with the classroom. Now, the cool thing is when you share a drawing with the classroom, so there's the results of this student, nowhere in here is the name of the student present. So you can share stuff. And if you want to give credit to the student, you can, but let's say if you're sharing a wrong answer and you don't want to embarrass them, you can do it in a totally anonymous way without calling anybody out and making them feel embarrassed and stuff. So unshare it and close it. So then we continue another one. This is another drawing, and again, red X on the cells that eat bacteria, etc. So showed you drawing, another drawing, and then this is a slide, and I can go over the answers and what each cell is. Now here's a fill in the blank activity. So this is how you see it already done with all the answers. What the students see is all the blanks and all the answers that need to be selected. So this one you can't see the rate at which to complete, so I usually give them a little bit of time and wander around the class and kind of see who's all working and how far along they are. And so they can literally just drag and drop the foreign element that carries oxygen. Here is the erythrocyte, and you just drag and drop. So that's pretty straightforward. When you decide that they're done, you can hit click done and then move on. So this one is another drawing. I did something with like draw a line and match. So this is another way you can use the draw feature. And then here I'll go over some of the combining forms. Another matching, fill in the blank, another fill in the blank, and I explain them every time. Lymphatic and immune system. And so here, this is a quiz about immunity. And so as a student, this is one of the options that you can do. So select which immunity is activated when you get sick, and you go, oh, this is going to be active, passive, acquired. No, it's active, natural immunity. That's what it is. And then you hit next, and you just, I'm not going to sit time and I know that I haven't chosen an answer. I know that. And here I'm not choosing answers, but now you can see, oh look, this student only answered one question and didn't answer the other ones. Or if the answer is wrong, the answer that it'll put will be here, and then it'll be in red. And then you can go over, if you click here, it'll tell you what the question was. You can go over it, and then you can share this. This is just simply the percentage of correct and incorrect answers, or no answers. So that's a quiz. You can make them as long as you want to. So again, some more about lymphatic forms, some will fill in the blank, and then here's a case study type activity, and you have the case and we read through it, and then this is an open-ended question. So it says list the medical terms with a short definition of each one. On the student end, here it is, and I actually put a screenshot of it so they can actually see and go back and look and say, oh, here's diarrhea, splenomegaly. So now they can click and put, let's go splenomegaly. I cannot type here. Sorry, I get dyslexic here. And then, you know, continue to do their thing, and then they can send it, and then you get the answer. You can see, and you can click if it's lengthier, and you can see their detail. You can again share it or not anonymously with the class. So it goes over some of the terms here, and again, same thing, the other half of the activity. So here's the other half of the text, and they can go find the rest of the terms and define them, and again go over them, explain stuff, show them pictures. So, and here's another type of case study, and so this one's a little shorter, and this one has questions like they're not just simply about the terms. So what condition does a hematologist suspect? Describe it briefly. And so here it is. If the student needs, it can click and go back and see, oh yeah, that's what, you know, was in the case, and then you can type, they can type in the answer. And so you see the participation rate here. Once a majority of them have participated, you can share their answers, and then you can go over the answers also if you needed. Give some pictures. Again, here's another draw. Underline the signs and symptoms in blue, the diagnosis test in green. So here's where they're at. Signs and symptoms in blue. We're going to go pick blue as a color. The symptoms included high fevers, thrombocytopenia, epistaxis, gingival bleeding, petechiae, and ecchymosis after minor trauma. And then what else did we have to do? Oh, the diagnostic test in green. So let's go pick green, and we did a bone marrow aspiration there. So that's, and then you send it, and of course again it comes across, and just a second, and then you can share it or not share it. So here it is, and you can anonymously share it with the class. So, and again, open-ended, listen to find each symptoms in your own words. Case study, there we go. Explain in your words what order diagnostic tests consist of. Explain what a clinical diagnosis is and give a real-life example. Case study, and then here's a poll. Now the difference between a poll and a quiz is the poll here, there's what treatment do you think this child will receive? There's actually not a correct or incorrect answer. So it truly is a poll. You can do any kind of multiple choice question as a poll. You just have to know what the answer is. So I'll say, oh, maybe they'll get a combination of all three. Send it, and then you can share the poll results of the class. So, you know, bunch of you guys thought a combination of all three, some of you guys thought just surgery, and you can go why that's the case, not the case, etc. Very good for getting opinions and stuff like that too. And again, same thing, this is a poll. What do you think remission means? Do you think remission means that they're cured? Yes, no, maybe, temporarily, and you can see kind of where they're at. And again, this is one of those where you could answer maybe, you can answer temporarily. I mean, it's and you could have, the cool thing about polls is you could have more than one correct answer, and then you can explain, you know, the difference between the answers. So again, And then I always finish with any questions, so they can send me any questions they have, and I can either answer it in their Blackboard class where all their content and everything is, or I can answer it at the beginning of the next class. So then when the session's over, we leave the session. Yes, I want to leave the session. And some other things you can do, we'll go back here. You can look at reports, which I think are really, really neat and valuable. And so on the reports, give it a second to load up here. I'm going to go some of the old ones from fall. So let's just pick this one up. For this one, I signed out one as a homework to some of the students that weren't able to make it. But this one is the one from class, and it was 54 students. So you can actually click on the report, and it's going to generate it. And you can download the reports as a PDF. And I usually did a PDF as a session view or CSV as a session view. It'll give you the summary. So here's all the people, the students that were here. Okay, and then in this session we had polls, open-ended. We did not have a quiz, and it was some drawing. And you can see the rate of participation in each activity and their overall participation here. Now, if you wanted to see what they answered when there was no quiz on the polls, here are the different answers, and you can go see what their answer was for each student. You can, same thing with open-ended, you can pick a question and see what the responses were. Same thing for the draw it, you can click it and go see what their drawings look like. And so I usually just download it, save it on the computer. If you're going to print them, they're all very lengthy, especially if you have a big class. So that's what the report sessions look like. I found them really valuable. We have record of attendance and stuff like that. So go back to my library, and then I'm going to show you real quick how to create one. Sorry, go back to here to create. And so you can create them straight into Nearpod, but if you, well, can you add a slide either way? We'll go add a slide. Let's do content and slide. This is it. Here's your title, you add your text. You cannot change color, font, or anything, which I think is static and kind of blah. So what I do is, and what you can do is you build it like this with cool backgrounds and pictures and different fonts and all that kind of stuff. You build it in PowerPoints, and then you can drag and drop it into your here. You literally drag it here, and it turns the PowerPoints to PDFs or whatever. It turns them into the slides. Now, the only problem I see is that once you've dragged your PowerPoint into presentation, you cannot modify your PowerPoint slides. So if you needed to modify your PowerPoint slides, then you would have to go back to the PowerPoint, modify it, change whatever you need to change, and then you can either maybe just save that slide into a different presentation and just upload it, or if, let's say, you change the background picture and you're changing all the slides, you just save it and then simply drag and drop it in here. It'll add all the new slides, and you can go back and delete all the old ones, or you can make a new presentation. That's whatever you want to. So I mean, you can edit it, it's just you cannot edit your slide themselves in Nearpod. Now, the slides that you can edit, you can do things with, are all the other slides. So in the content, video, you can pick a video and go to YouTube and search a video on, let's do hard anatomy, and there, and it's going to list them. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that one, that's a good one. So I'm going to select it, save it, and ta-da, it is in there. We can put another slide in, just put content one in real quick, and we can put boring black and white. Save. Okay. And you can also add activities. So you can add web content too, by the way. If you want to take them to a website, you plug the URL in. They can wander around anywhere in the website but nowhere else. I use that occasionally, and then we can add an activity. So you have your open-ended questions out here. That's what it looks like. Literally, you just type the questions. So, what do you like about Nearpod? There you go. And hit save, and it's going to add it in there. Ta-da! And this is just being slow. So here, and I was like, oh, I want to drag it, and I want to put it over here. And this one really needs to go right here. And oh no, I want a video afterwards. You can move these guys around. And then, so another activity, you have your poll. And so you can ask a question. Do you like Nearpod? And you can put yes, you put no, and hit save. And now you got a poll. And so you can put, I said, oh, maybe the poll needs to go right here. And then you can add another activity. We can add a draw it, add a picture. You can make a quiz. And so here you can enter your question, enter the answers, and then you can select what the correct answer is. So it grades it for you. You can add answers, you can add questions, you can delete, you can actually also drag and drag these and rearrange them. Anyway, so that's a quiz. And so that's the bulk of the activities that I use. Let me look. The fill in the blank is right here. We'll look at it real quick. So you get to pick different colors, and then the way you do it is Nearpod interactive learning tool, and then me. If you want something that has two words to be one word, you'll look at it and put an underscore. So Audrey underscore Skaggs was your presenter, and then you go next, and then you decide this is going to be a blank, this is going to be a blank, and now you're done. And this is what it will look like. We're going to preview it, and here it is. This is what it looks like. Done. And let me see. I'm actually going to properly preview it. Here's preview. Show you what it looks like. Takes it a minute. Okay, so here it is. And it's actually did not have it all the way through Nearpod. Done. And I got two out of two. Right. Yeah, so it should have put my whole, sometimes it doesn't load right. It should have put my whole name, but the connection is kind of not really good right now. Okay, so that's a quick run through, and then when you're done you have to publish it, and even if you publish it and you decide to change it, you can just unpublish it, edit it, and republish it. You have to have it published in order to run a live session from it. You can change your presentation, title, and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to go here, back to my library, and delete this, and that is Nearpod. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been having a lot of fun with it. The students really like it. And if you need some more help about it, if you want some insight or ask me questions, just drop by and come see me. Thank y'all.